just remember kind of being on top of him, hitting him a few times in the mouth. And as they've grabbed me by my arms, he's come up and just gone, bit of chunk out my chin. Where, oh God, I've got some stories about that. Oh God. When I'm with a girl, all I can think about sometimes is when it was just full chips coming out of my mouth. And they just say, Harrison, get on the fucking rope.
What's happening? So today we're joined with Lewis Harrison. How are you doing?
The infamous Lewis Harrison.
Fucking trust you to start something like that.
One half of the Harrison twins. I'm good, mate. I'm good today.
Where did this mental journey start for you? I know that obviously you've built your social media up to be something very, very impressive. Owner of different businesses over the years and stuff. But where did it all begin?
I'd probably say, I don't know, probably when I was like 16, 17. I think I knew at school, this is going to sound a little bit big-headed, but, you know, my report cards always used to say, Lewis is a very popular member of the class. You know, my mum used to absolutely hate that as well. Lewis is a joker, but he's a very popular member of the class. So I always knew there was something that I was meant to do, should we say.
Mm-hmm.
I was meant to, you know, excel in something that was, you know, kind of putting myself out there.
Did you go to the same school as your brother?
Yeah.
Was he the same as you?
Yeah.
So you're both popular lads?
I'd probably say he was a little bit naughtier than me, to be fair. You know, he also probably got into a little bit more trouble as we got older. So, with the law, should we say.
What was your what was your background when you were young? What was your mum and dad like around school? What was your family? Is any other siblings involved?
We don't come from a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Me and my brothers. But, you know, you were kind of always taught, you know, you do well at school, you know, you get a good job and stuff like this. And, you know, my older brother really excelled at school, but me and Owen, nah, we were kind of, you know, should we say, bad boys or whatever you want to call us.
All right,
I would say like not mischievous, should we say.
Were you getting into fights and all that?
Yeah, I probably say Owen a little bit more than me. We've had fights, you know, amongst ourselves as well.
Okay,
no.
Fair enough. It's always going to happen with brothers.
Like proper fights. So like not just like,
shut up, man.
You know, like you know, a little bit of a push here and there. It was like, you know, I've actually got a scar on my chin here. Actually, where he bit me one time. Like,
how old were you at this point?
Bit of chunk on my chin. This was when I was like 22. But
fucking hell. Well, let's come back. Let's go back to school anyway. So obviously, I want to take it to say when you're around 16-year-old, you're leaving school. What's kind of the future looking like for you?
Well, when I was in school, I was always like really good at sport. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. You know, I was really good at football. I was at, you know, football academies like Bolton Wanderers when they were in the Premiership. That is not now. Shit. You know, and then I obviously went to Carlisle, and then like I got pro contract at Morecambe, stuff like that, and then, you know, I kind of always excelled in that area. That's what I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But from there, I think something changed. I think because I was always involved in football and stuff like that, I kind of got a little bit sick of it, should I say?
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of do something else.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, school was a fun time. You know, well, it's a fun time for everyone.
What were you sick of about football? Because it's normally every lad's dream. I mean, I said on your last podcast actually that I think it was my dream. I didn't even play footy. Do you know what I mean? So why did you get? I mean, you're getting all these kind of offers and things like you're moving around the country. You know, with football. What's the reason why you're thinking actually I'm a bit sick of this?
I think it's just the disappointment from it. You know, when you're kind of like growing up, you think, right, this is what I want to be, and it was more like, oh, you kept getting released, oh, you're not good enough for this. And I felt like as you get further down, you know, the road into kind of like, you know, oh, I want to become a footballer. It's like more or less like, you know, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, you soon begin to realize that with the players that were kind of getting contracts, it was just like, oh, his dad's friends with his dad. Do you know what I mean? And it's that kind of thing. So, I mean, in saying that, I did actually go to Bolton Wanderers with another guy, another good friend of mine, called Stuart McDonald, and he actually really excelled, and he actually got a pro contract at Bolton, but now he doesn't play football whatsoever.
Do you think you felt like you needed to kind of make your own kind of, you know what I mean? Like if I'm going to be succeed, I want the responsibility of doing it myself.
Exactly, yeah.
Do you think that's what it was?
Yeah, I think I always had that. I don't know. Some guys always have that kind of like that fire inside them that they want to be something else, or they want to be something. And I used to say that to myself. Like I need to be someone I can't just be a normal person.
And why do you think that was the case with you? Do you think that had anything to do with your upbringing? Do you think that had anything to do with who you saw, who you looked up to?
Possibly, yeah. Possibly, you know, like I said before, we don't come from a lot. And I feel like, you know, you can't have that victim mentality all the time. And then at some point something, you know, switched and it was just like, well, you know what? The only person that's going to fucking help you is you.
So what's them steps then? Right, so you've sacked the footy off.
Yeah.
How old are you at this point? 16, 17-ish?
16, 17, yeah.
So you wanna be responsible for your own success.
Yeah.
What did Lewis Harrison do?
After that, joined the Marines. Owen also joined the Marines, but he was a little bit ahead of me. You know, I was there for like, you know, a year, 2 years, got injured a few times, broken foot here and there. Ended up coming out of that. I kind of let Owen go into, if he does a podcast, go into why he got, should we say, thrown out.
Okay.
But, you know, and then me and Owen were kind of just stuck there like, what do we do now? And, you know, we always enjoyed the gym. We were still going to the gym, you know, and, you know, we enjoyed kind of like looking good. And not only that, this was like around that time of the Ziz era as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the Ziz era, I feel, is still the best era for, you know, should we call it bodybuilding, physique modeling, or whatever it may be.
So you took a liking to the gym. How did that go from looking mint? Did you leave the Marines at that point when obviously everything happened with Owen?
Yeah, no, I kind of, well, to be fair, I left at a certain point just before him, before he actually got, you know, discharged himself. I was too many injuries for me. And then we were kind of just like, obviously stuck there like, all right, what do we do now? What do we do now? And it was kind of like, we were into the gym. And then what happened was we actually went to a festival. And at this festival, we met a very good, he's still a very good friend now, called Rogan O'Connor. Probably people know him. And we met him kind of there, and obviously we didn't know him, but you know, you meet people at festivals and stuff like that. And he'd done like this photo shoot, and he'd then contact this photographer who he'd just done a photo shoot with, and this photographer was like, they're not real. As in kind of like, there's two twins, look shredded, you know, they're definitely not real. And then that's when it kind of took off from there, was when we went and did this photo shoot, and then we then went and did some YouTube videos, and these YouTube videos straight away, 1 million, 2 million views, 3 million views.
How did that feel for you then? Because were you feeling like, actually, I'm getting a bit of success here, bro? But then again, did numbers on views, did they really mean anything to you? Because obviously you're not from that world at this point.
No,
so
they did. It was more a bit of a, you know,
ego thing.
Ego boost. Yeah, it was just like, oh, you know what? Maybe I can kind of like make something of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Obviously, there was no money in it. You know, there was no money in it back then. But shortly after we kind of did that first shoot, Muslim Fitness actually got in touch with me and Owen.
That's a big deal, like, isn't it?
Yeah, so we were only about, you know, 19, 20, 21, probably something like that. And they were like, oh, we want to do a 6-page spread on you. And we were like, all right, cool, let's do it.
So were you even models at that point?
Not really. I was good looking, but still am. But you know, we were kind of looking at it like, you know, where could we take it?
Yeah.
We didn't know where it was going to go from there. You know, we didn't know. Oh, you know, yeah, we've got a few million views on some YouTube videos, stuff like that. But you know, we didn't know where it was going to go from there.
Do you think do you think being a twin helped you in that environment, or do you think you could have been okay solo? Because you're still a good-looking lad, regardless of whether you're a twin or not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So how does that work out? How did that play into it? Or did you feel, actually, I can't do this without my brother?
Yeah, probably that was it. Couldn't do this without my brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was like, that was the niche.
Yeah.
There was no one like me and Owen.
Because you see the Hodge twins, and you see other twins, don't you, in the bodybuilding world?
Yeah, to be fair, obviously the Hodge twins were out there. You know, I still watch Hodge twins videos now. I think they're so funny. They're so funny. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, I used to watch their videos, and then I wouldn't say we tried to mimic them, but we had our own sort of humour.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it was more, humour was more dry, should we say. It was more British than kind of, obviously, looking at the Hodge twins.
Do you see more twins emerging now because of what you and Owen did? Do you think?
Yeah. I see a lot now. Like, and probably if you said to them, do you know who the Harrison twins are? They'd probably say, oh yeah, they were like probably, you know, some of the first.
I just want to jump back into the Marines with you, Lewis. What was kind of the hardest things you had to do in the Marines? Because again, not everyone's going to know what that entails. People just think, oh, he's winning the Marines. There's going to be a bit of graft involved. Like, how hard was it?
Probably the hardest thing that I've ever done, but it does teach us so much discipline. And I feel like that part of my life there has set me up for what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Being able to keep my discipline with, obviously, you know, working out, the scheduling, everything like that. Okay. Not only that, it gives you some purpose.
Was anything in particular, though, about the Marines where you remember, fucking hell, I tested myself there?
Just trying to think of some of that stuff. Like, you knew when you woke up in the morning, you know, 4, 5 a.m., you looked at the schedule for the day. If you were kind of on bottom field, you knew you were getting absolutely thrashed. I actually remember one particular time when I actually went for lunch and we had bottom field. You know, it was probably about 3 o'clock. And I remember going into, obviously, the galley to eating some food. And I was thinking, I won't have chips today. And then I was thinking, I'm going to need the fuel because we're about to get absolutely thrashed. Next thing I know, I've obviously had these chips. And then I remember we were getting thrashed on bottom field. And we had to do the assault course. And then I just remember kind of coming up to the regame, which is where you have to obviously climb across a rope, hang off, you know, get yourself back on with £31 of kit. And I remember doing that, right before I kind of got up to doing that, we'd just been thrashed, and I was like, I'm going to throw up here. And I just threw up, and it was just full chips coming out of my mouth. Loads of just like everything coming back up, and then and then you just say, Harrison, get on the fucking rope. Do you know what I mean? So, do you know what I mean? There was like no mercy there. Do you know what I mean? It was particularly hard, even doing like mud runs and stuff like that, where, you know, the troop did something wrong, and then you obviously, you know, going for a mud run, and this mud's like, you know, knee deep, sometimes even higher than that. You have to run out there. Your hands are getting put in the mud. There's shells in there. The shells are cutting all your fingers, stuff like that. There's mud in your mouth. Do you know what I mean? So even when you're in the field, you're probably looking at getting like, you know, 3 hours sleep a week.
It's not really what any young lad wants to do, like, is it?
No. Like, fair, I mean, it was a test, you know, because Owen went in first, and as I seen, we went on a family day to obviously see Owen, and I looked at it and I thought, this looks sick.
Do you think there was a bit of competition with you and Owen?
Oh, yeah.
So it was
definitely.
like, well, if he can do it, I can do it as well.
And I looked at it and I thought, this is sick. This is what I want to be a part of. This is what I want to do. So that's what it kind of came.
It's good that you've had that, you know, because I think a lot of people lack that competitive nature as well, and it's kind of bred into you by having a sibling, a twin, so close. Do you know what I mean? I think it can probably work the other way as well. I think it negatively impacts some people, depending on how, you know, you said you've had fights and that, which we might touch on. Stay fucking tuned. But I saw, obviously you're 19, 20-year-old, you've done this YouTube video, things are starting to blow up a little bit for you, you're getting these views. Is modelling kind of a thing that you're then classing yourself as? This is how me and Owen are going to make money?
Yeah, I think back then you couldn't make a lot of money from fitness modelling because Instagram was kind of in its infancy then as well. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it only hit a certain point where we thought, you know what? We can make money out of this. You know, this is a marketing platform. Okay. Mm-hmm. And we soon found that out, and then we thought, all right, well, start a business from this. So that's what we did. But yeah, at that time, you know, 21, 22, we're thinking, right, you know, what can we do for this? You know, I was still I went into obviously personal training, one-on-one personal training. I was doing all right at that. You know, I was obviously the busiest in my gym. Kind of doing one-on-one training, and then that's when we kind of, you know, it's another story, another part of this podcast is where we did our first online training business, I'd say.
So when you were in the gym and you were busy PT and stuff, did you have Instagram and social media at this point?
Yeah.
How was that doing? Was that growing rapidly?
That was growing rapidly.
Was it?
Because me and Owen would actually meet. I was working in a gym at the time in Leeds, and Owen was living in Manchester. I was in Leeds, so it wasn't, you know, obviously too far. And he would drive over to the gym because I would get keys to my gym that I would work in, and we would stay in there till like 3 a.m. in the morning recording these YouTube videos.
Fucking mad that, like, innit?
You know what I mean? Some days would just be like, you know, I had a girlfriend at the time. She's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I've got to record a fucking video." So you fucking stay here. You know what I mean? And I would get in at like 2 a.m. She'd be like, "Where you been?" I'd be like, "I've been in the gym recording shit." Do Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And because, you know, I wanted to get somewhere with it. So.
Do you think she believed you? Because like now,
I,
creating videos is kind of the norm. Everyone wants to be a content creator.
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah.
wants to grow a following and all the rest of it. But back then, obviously, when you were getting into it, your page is growing rapidly. I bet you any bird that you had around you at the time was like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah. To be fair, at the time, I actually had a really good girlfriend back then. And, you know what, she actually did a lot for me. But that's another story, like girls and stuff like that. And, you know, I've kind of taken some of them for granted. And, you know, but yeah, I get it. Like, you know, when your Instagram's growing, you know, people kind of see that, you get a lot of messages. So
Did you actually feel the shift when your Instagram started growing? Did you, what kind of, I know it's probably hard to kind of put a number on it or a time on it, but can you remember a time you thought, fucking hell, I'm getting noticed here? Like,
oh yeah.
Do you know, is it a 10K? Yeah. Is it a million? Where does that, or is it the first couple hundred?
It was so easy to kind of obviously produce a following back then. Do you know what I mean? Because your posts were getting seen everywhere. And I think it was easy for me and Owen because we were twins. Everyone was like, look at these fucking twins. They're shredded. They're good looking. They both look the same. Do you know what I mean? But not only that, we added a little bit of humour to our videos as well, and that's what people loved.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, obviously, the full package that, you know, people hadn't kind of seen that before. Because we weren't any like, you know, we weren't these boring fitness guys. You know what I mean? And I'm still not a boring fitness guy. You know what I mean? I know I don't kind of go on YouTube anymore and baff a load of shit out, but you know what I mean?
What about your extremely large YouTube channel? You've not still got that anymore.
You know what? We probably should have worked on that a little bit harder when we were younger, you know? But it's also hard to run it. If you have to run it yourself, it's easier because you're relying on yourself.
Yeah.
But if you have a twin brother that's sometimes very challenging to get along with, do you know what I mean? And you've spent all that time together, like growing up, you've got the same friends, and you've been with each other for so fucking long. It's like, you know, it's going to be a little bit of arguments here and there. And all.
I want to make a video.
I want to do this. Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean? So, in a way, it's harder, I feel, to do it with someone else because when you just do it on your own, you know, it's just you.
Yeah, of course. You make a video at 3 a.m.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Do you remember, like I said though, do you remember a time when you started feeling the shift, like, fucking, I'm getting noticed here, like, or opportunities were flying in, or it could be girls coming into the DMs. Do you actually remember, I've made it here, like?
Yeah, I mean, how old was I? I'd probably say about 23, 24, something like that.
What was your following like that then?
Probably about, I can't remember, probably getting up to about, you know what, I used to look at Simi and Panda. Obviously, me, Owen and Simi, we were all on the same brand at the time. We were on at My Protein. And I used to look at his page and he was on like, I think like 500,000 followers. And I used to think, oh my God, I wonder what it's like to have 500,000 followers. That's crazy. Do you know what I mean? Because me at the time, you know, and had like, I don't know, like 150K or something like that. And we're growing and growing and growing. But that was about the time, probably around like 23, 24. And we continually started, you know, making more and more, obviously more content.
Yeah.
And that was getting more traction.
And then the opportunities were coming
in. And then the more
more
opportunities, you know, and then we started going to obviously the US, you know, a few times, Vegas. I'm going to say Ohio, I don't know why, because Ohio's a shithole.
It's when you know you've made it, when you've been to fucking Ohio.
Yeah, Ohio, loads of birds. You know, Vegas, you know, Miami, Florida, all them places that, you know, we started traveling to. So, you know, and that's when American support companies started to kind of take notice as well.
What did your actual friends and that think of you? You know, your friends outside of the YouTube fitness influencer, that type of scene. What did your normal mates think of you? Were they like, who does he think he is? Or were they like, get on, Lewis, gan for it, mate? Because obviously it's not the average. Like, not every man in the street's got a following that he could, you know, you get perks, opportunities and things like that. Obviously you've grew that yourself, congratulations. Like, that's some graft, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, regardless how easy it was then compared to now, that's still a lot of work. I appreciate that you put that in. Like, did you get a lot of support round then? Or was it like, did you get negative shit off your mates? Like,
I probably in the start, the very start, it was quite negative. But you know, we didn't care. We were just like, all right, well, we'll do you. You do you, and we'll do us. Do you know what I mean? But I think because we're from obviously a small town in the north of England called Kendal. So we kind of left that town, you know what I mean? And we kind of gone into obviously bigger cities and stuff like that. Not that, you know, I'm still friends with my friends back from my hometown. You know, I love them to pieces. They're all, you know, great guys. But, you know, I don't really know what they actually thought. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to go out there and say, "Oh, what do you think of me? Do you think I'm a cunt?"
Do you ever go back there? You know what I mean? Do you ever go back there?
Oh yeah. My mum, my parents still live there and stuff like that.
And do any of those guys, have they took your kind of route, or they're just doing the normal jobs and stuff? Or?
I think they're just kind of doing obviously the same thing, but you know, each to their own.
Yeah,
you know
exactly. No,
they're happy. They're happy. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly, that's fair play, mate. Do you ever think that could have been your type of life? Do you think you'd ever see yourself in a normal job? I don't mean now. I mean back then. If you look back, do you think you could be happy with that?
No, I don't know. I think I always had that fire inside of me, as in like, listen, I want to fucking be someone, and I need to be someone. So, you know, I kind of look at that right now, and I think, I don't want to. I like going back to see my parents and stuff like that, and see my friends and that. But as soon as I enter that town, I'm just like, I couldn't stay here.
So bit of a deep question this, Lewis. Do you think that you are someone now? Do you believe that, you know, that fire in your belly, I want to be someone? Have you got that now?
I would say I've still got that fire, that motivation.
Yeah.
But I hate to be that person and be like, oh, I'm someone now. I hate that. Do you know what I mean? If we go to Ibiza every year, if I'm in Ibiza, I'm definitely not one of them lads that's like noisy, like, like look at me kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? I'm one of them chill guys that kind of sits there. You know, I'm not one of them guys that's, you know, all loud. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'll tell you everything that I'm doing. I'm definitely not one of them. So, you know.
But inside though, do you feel accomplished? Do you like, I know you've got a long way to go. Do you not?
No.
Do you think that'll? I don't think that'll ever leave you.
No.
If I'm honest with you, I don't think.
I feel like it's like a glass ceiling.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like,
I think it's a good thing though, and it's probably why you're into the gym and all that as well. Like, there's no. I mean, how many years have you been training for now? You're 32. Fucking hell, mate. You've probably been training for 20 years.
Yeah. Well, no, probably about 12. Probably.
Say 12 hard years of training in the gym.
Yeah.
If you're doing that, mate, like, you know that really you still now you want to improve, don't you? It's the same as business, isn't it? It's the same as mindset. Like, regardless what you've got, where you're at.
Stage, isn't it? It's like you get to a certain stage and you think, you know, say you take yourself back, like, I don't know, a year, 2 years, and you think, you know what, if I just make it to this point, I will be happy. But once you reach that stage, you're like, actually, I'm not fucking happy. You know what I mean? There's still a lot more to go. You know what I mean? There's still a lot more to do. There's still a lot more to improve on. So,
did you, on your kind of rise up the social media ranks, and as you started getting business, and which we'll touch on, I know that you've always been into your cars, Lewis.
Yeah.
I've seen that beast of a car you've got up there when I've just pulled up. But is that something you think you should try and save money for and experience having them things? Because I've just had this conversation with video guy Kurt over there, and we often speak about this. And I've wanted a nice car for 8, and I've never done it. I feel I've got a thing where I feel like I don't deserve something. I know it's mad, because I've been creating content now for 12 years, mate. And this business, the content PT that I've got now, I've been in that for 4 years ish.
Yeah,
creating content for influencers, PTs, coaches, and all that stuff. And I'm at a position now where I'm like, I could probably maybe get something nice. Yeah. But I'm like, unless it's a fucking Bentley, I don't want it. But that's how I feel.
Yeah.
And I don't know where that comes from. Obviously, you've had a shitload of nice cars. Would you say you've got to get the position financially, or do you think now you've got your experience blowing your money on some shit to know that actually I don't need them things?
I feel like you've got to get there financially first.
Do you?
Yeah, because otherwise I feel like it is a stupid decision. You can look at it this way. Like, if you get a nice car, it might attract, you know, more business. It might be a bit of an asset. People say, oh, it's a depreciating asset, which, you know what, you can look at it like that. Yeah, it is kind of. But you can also look at it as in like, oh, look at this guy. He's got a nice car, got a nice watch. He's got this, you know. It can also be an asset for people to want to do business with you as well. Because if he's got those things, I want those things. How did he get those things? I want to know what he does and how did he do it?
Yeah, of course. Has that ever rubbed off on you? Do you think you've ever met someone where something materialistic that they've got has made you want that?
Yeah. I know a lot of people with a lot of fucking money. And I think, well, you know, my car's like, you know, it's all right. It's 100 grand car, I would probably say, you know, brand new. But it's just like, I look at other people's cars and I think, oh, wow,
See, that's what fascinates me, and you just say, I've got 100 grand car, it's all right. I'm thinking, what's he thinking about my fucking golf? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I do. Sometimes but then you listen to some people, and I've had conversations with people when I worked out in Dubai and stuff, and instantly, even me, like, I know that, right, he's got that Breitling on, he's got that Rollie on, he's got whatever he's got on. Actually, now he's in that clique with them people. Is that because of the kind of material things that they've got, and that kind of invites you into the conversation?
Yeah.
But you think financially you should get yourself set? I know, because I know it sounds like a bit of a daft question to ask, but I've spoken to a shitload of people, mate, and they've blew fucking a lot of money when they couldn't afford to blow it.
Yeah.
But they've said, actually, do you know what? I had to do that to get out my system. They've got a lot more money now, and they've got the golf. Not the golf, but you get what I'm saying.
They've still got the nice car.
They've got the nice car, but they haven't went fucking rolling.
Well, yeah, you know what? You can, if you do that, it might make you work even harder. Do you know what I mean? You're like, right, well, I've got this now. You know what? I need to make those payments every single month. Well, I best start fucking working.
What was your reason for treating yourself to something nice?
I'm a car fan. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I am actually a car fan. Like, I mean, every time I get something, it's Beamers. Like, when people come to me and like, oh, Mercs, Audis, I'm like, they're all right. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm all about kind of like performance-based machines. Mm-hmm. And I look at kind of like stuff like, obviously, BMWs and stuff like that. I mean, even if you look at an M5 CS, it's 150 grand monster, but it'll smoke a Lambo. Do you know what I mean? So, like, if you were to come to me and say, here's a Lambo, one of the 4x4 Urises, like, all right, cool. Or here's an XXM, but it's murdered out, it's got some new tyres and it's got a new exhaust system on, stuff like that. I go XXM every single time because I know it'll smoke the Lambo, but not only that, I don't know, I'm just like a fan of that particular
cars,
car.
Machinery in general, like that. Does that cross over into social media? Do you look at people with 10 million followers and think, yeah, I want a bit of that? Or does that not bother you now? Because, I mean, what are you sitting at, 1 million?
Yeah, 1.1 million now.
1.1 million, fucking hell, mate, it's still mate, imagine 1.1 million people sitting outside here. Fucking hell, you get fucking put in jail. They turn up this stuff. But do you know what I mean? Does that cross over into social media, you think? Do you think you would be impressed by someone who had a lot of bigger following than yourself?
Not so much, I'm not really. If I look at someone that's got a big follower and like a huge following or a bigger following than me, I'm not really particularly bothered. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I've reached 1 million, 1.1 million, or whatever it may be. Do you know what I mean?
You're not asked now.
No, basically. I'm not asked about it. Do you know what I mean?
Do you still feel the urgency to post though?
Yeah. No, I mean, I look at people with lesser followers than me, but they've got a better business than me. They've got more money than me. That's what I'm kind of more interested in now.
Do you know what, mate? I think that's a good point. I think that's part of why you're humble, because at the end of the day, you're looking and you're appreciating people, and it's not the following that's blind and it's not giving you that bullshit. You know what I mean? It's like, actually, I can learn from this person. And I think that's really important to have, because I've definitely met a lot of people who've got a shitload of followers and shit on social. I'm like, but what money are you making? Yeah. How well's your business? I know a lot of people with big followings and they're doing fuck all.
Yeah, they're
doing absolutely fuck all. So, and I think that's important. So when I look at you and the Elavate Agency and things that you're onto now, again, which we'll talk on, it's inspiring me, it really is. Okay, so I want to just jump back into it. Obviously, you got deals with likes of MyProtein, different brands, different sponsors and stuff. What kind of advice can you give to to anyone listening, how to attract sponsors and stuff?
I feel like you have to be a little bit different now. Back when all Instagram was in its infancy and stuff like that, it was a lot easier back then to actually attain a sponsor. Now you have to, your content has to be a lot different. You know what I mean? The buyer's a lot more sensitive, should we say. You can't just post a picture and people expect you to go, oh yeah, I'll take that. You know what I mean? There needs to be a little bit more information put out there now. Mm-hmm. Or the content needs to look, different. You need to, things that work well for me is, I'm in shape. I haven't got shit tattoos because I've seen some people with fucking shit tattoos. I like to think I'm funny. I am funny. And then the content's just a little bit more different. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
But it needs to be a mixture of both.
Aye, that's fair.
Information, motivational stuff as well.
Because what's mad with you? Like, even the stuff I've seen on your YouTube, you're not like the standard fitness bloke. No. A lot of people, and again, they know their stuff. Personality wise, you're different. There's not many you're out there. Yeah, you didn't give a shit, do you? Do you know what I mean? I think that definitely goes into your plays into your favour if you
Yeah.
Because you're a twin, do you think there was ever a time when you've had to pull back and Owen's been like, Lewis, don't fucking do that. It's gonna damage my image here. Or do you think, or have you ever done that to him?
I mean, when we used to record videos when we were younger, we'd say something and we're like, no, we probably can't say that. No, we can't say that. And then we're thinking, oh, can we say that? And then, no, take it. And then we'd be like, our video guy at the time, Joe, would be like, no, take that out. We'll start this again. We'll start this again. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's some parts where you think, probably crossing the line a little bit. Because some of them early videos that we used to do, they were raw. Do you know what I mean? They were funny. You probably couldn't get away with.
Don't want them to resurface now, do you?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, mate. So do you think there was any kind of strategy though? You know, when you were saying there about you need to be a bit different. Obviously, you're full of tats. You're good-looking bloke and all that. Do you think you need to be? Do you think there's a strategy that you can follow if you post 6 posts a week, or do you think it's just random as fuck?
I think it's more quality than quantity sometimes. Mm-hmm. All right. I mean, the way I do my content is it needs to look a certain way. And I say that to the video guy because before we actually film, I'll go through it in my head the night before, 2 nights before. I think, right, I've got this in front of me. How can I market this? And then I kind of go, I'm quite good at creating little ideas of how I want it to look like. And then I kind of pass it over to, people like yourselves or something like that. That's got a little bit more, I'm only so creative in my head. I know what I want it to look like. Yeah. But you guys are a lot better at kind of looking at it on a screen and be like, right, well, that's going to go with that, the music and stuff like that. Do
you think getting into videos potentially something? Because you know what, mate, it's mad. The amount of people I've spoke to who are in the kind of similar sphere that you're in say that if they weren't doing what they were doing, they'd probably do something to do with filming or videography. Yeah. Tattooists are the same, Pengers.
Yeah,
he said the same thing. He said he'd probably do something like that as well.
Yeah.
I had him on a couple of weeks ago and he said exactly the same thing. And I think, do you think you would see yourself doing something like that, or would you rather just focus on doing you?
Oh, I don't know. Probably just focus on doing me. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I feel like I've been blessed with a personality for one. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And all these other gifts, it's just well, I need to work to my strengths here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, use what you've got instead of bombarding yourself with more shit type of thing.
Bringing stuff in, we're like, oh, I could do that. Yeah, it's like videoing. That's why I outsource it.
Yeah.
I get someone else to do that shit because I don't want to be fucking sat at a computer going, oh, yeah, this and that. You know
so do you think then, Lewis, if you are trying to grow your social media, it would benefit you to have a content creator around you?
Definitely. I think that's the first thing you need. Because like I said, unless you're very creative, I'm only creative to a certain point. I know what I want it to look like in my head. Yeah. But you guys have got a total different outlook on what you actually want it to look like. Yeah, you know what I mean? And then actually, obviously when I kind of get this content sent to me, I'm just sometimes I do look at it and think, oh, that could have been a little bit better, or the backdrop could have been a little bit better. Next time I'll change that. I'll choose somewhere else that looks a little bit cleaner. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And the video will look better. But, more or less, I look at the content or what I get sent and I'm just you know what? That's fucking bang on that.
Fucking mint. I know that you've dabbled in clothing. You've had your own brand and stuff like that. I know you mentioned off camera that it was a brand that you kind of stepped away from or whatever. Can you tell me, did that brand fail? Did you pull out of it? How did that diffuse and what did you learn from having a brand?
Oh, I think there was just too many chefs, should we say. There's too many people involved. And that's why it kind of, obviously failed. Really, it was a bit of a blessing in disguise. Do you know what I mean? We got it to a certain point. If I look at it, I probably wasted 18 months there, mm-hmm. Where I could have been doing something else, like something that I'm doing now. But you know what? I feel like you need to go through that to learn from it.
Yeah.
I feel like you need to fail at so many things to then get onto something. Oh, you know what? This fucking works. This is what I'm good at. And look how much money it's turning. I'm thinking, right, well, now we're going to see where we can take this.
Yeah, I mean, mate, there's a shitload of people. I mean, I know a few people myself personally, like actual friends from where I live, who are trying to start clothing brands and stuff. And I'm always going to support people. I'll always try and help and stuff. And if I can do a bit of marketing, a bit of content for them, I will. However, when I look at people like you who've got a big following and it hasn't worked, it kind of disheartens me for those people. Yeah. It's fucking hell, it must be hard. If you've already got a leg up with a following, where if you only need a certain percentage to buy from you to make it half decent, what if someone who hasn't got an Instagram page, what kind of chance have they got?
Then again, I think sometimes it depends on who you know as well. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say it's not going to work, but it's harder now than it used to be. Put it that way. So the beauty about our business that we have now is, the profit. When you're kind of doing clothing, it's just like you have to deal with suppliers. You know what I mean? How much you're getting, your stock for. You have to sit on stock. You can't buy too much stock at the start. Say if you buy 300 of each, you don't sell it all, then you just sat on that
sitting
stock
on the shelf.
Yeah, and then you're just like, oh, well, what do I do? Put it in sale. And it's kind of just like, but I probably won't go and do another business like that ever again.
So do you think it would be fair to say
service-based business is at the best?
Less overheads, all
that
type of stuff.
Exactly.
And would it be fair to say that it's not worth starting a clothing brand in 2023? I'm just trying to create real content. Fucking hell, yeah.
Me personally, no. I think it's a little bit saturated now.
Mm-hmm.
If you kind of look at it, and if you go on Instagram, how many clothing brands is there?
That's all you see now, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's all you see.
So,
because the question mark's always over when I look at a clothing brand, and I'm like, "Fuck, are these doing well?" But then the other side of it is, ironically, I don't give a shit if they're doing well. If I like the clothes, I like the clothes.
Yeah,
it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, I want to talk about where you're at now, Lewis.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've worked with sponsors, you've built up your social media, you've came from the military background, and now you've got a business called Elavate Agency.
Yeah.
There's a couple of years involved in that, isn't there?
Yeah, there's me, obviously my twin, Owen, my older brother, Jamie, and one of my best friends, Josh Mooney, which probably everyone knows Josh.
And can you tell me how that came about and why you wanted to get involved with a business? Because I'm assuming you've never did this before.
We never did this before, but we were testing something at the time on kind of high ticket selling. And so, my older brother's very intelligent. He used to be a teacher. And we used to, back in the day when we were like 23, 24, before we actually started the clothing, we had another business, like obviously an online training business that used to turn obviously a lot of money, but it was more lower ticket stuff. We'd sell programs for, £60, the highest one would probably be like £120 or something like that,
mm-hmm.
For like 10 weeks or something, So we wanted to try something a little bit different, on how to get leads, and then obviously how to sell to these people, where we get their information from. Okay. Yeah. I mean, with our business now, I run the high ticket selling part of it. I was shit at selling. I never, my first sales call, I was thinking, fucking hell, I'm nervous here, what's going to go here? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But now it's obviously a service-based business, and, there's 4 of us involved, and then we have, so many staff as well. So, what we do is we build a low ticket platform as well, but then we also help clients with their high ticket selling as well.
Yeah.
So,
what do you say to people who are looking to start a business, regardless what it is, but in the service-based businesses? What are you looking, what can they do? Because I hear a lot of, I'm the content PT, my business. I know it's 100% a lonely business.
Yeah.
I travel the world, but I travel the UK predominantly 1,800 miles a week. I'm up and down the country, working with people like yourself, creating content, and it's just like, fuck, I'm listening to a lot of podcasts. I'm just fucking on my own a lot, but I am.
Yeah.
And do you find that doing what you do can be a lonely place, because you're an entrepreneur? You are. Do you think it's a lonely place to be where you are?
It is, but I like it.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, for example, if I have a girlfriend, I only really want to see her at weekends. Do you know what I mean? Monday to Friday, I want to be working.
I don't know any birds who's game for that.
I know a few. Do you know what I mean? Or if not, if you're not, you kind of just say it to them at the start.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Because it is quite lonely. Sometimes I feel like when I'm with a girl, all I can think about sometimes is work. And I'm thinking...
Didn't think you were going to say work.
Yeah, honestly, I was thinking, after you've done the other thing. But, all I can think about is work. And I think, fucking hell, what the fuck am I doing here on this park bench feeding these fucking ducks when I could be working? I'm wasting so much fucking time here. Or, do you know what I mean? Or, don't get me wrong, some girls get it. Do you know what I mean? This is why I feel like if you do get a girlfriend, it needs to be they need to have a job or some sort of hobby. Do you know what I mean? So they can like give you a little bit of peace, because all I can think about
Some sort of hobby.
Monday to Saturday, even Sunday is fucking work.
Right.
Like, and that's all and that's where I kind of get my joy from, is my routine. Because if something kind of knocks me off my routine, I fucking bird, a girl, if she knocks me off my routine, then I'm a bit like,
Yeah.
I start getting a little bit mad, should we say, in my head. I'm just like, oh, can you fuck off? I just want you to fuck off.
Obviously, you what you're doing right now, 1 million followers, business owner, freedom, flash car, live in a lovely place, lovely apartment. You've got property. You travel about where you want. You lived in Marbella for a bit, Barcelona, all these places.
Yeah.
Most lads, I would say, most certainly in their 20s, early 30s, want to be like you. Regardless what they're saying, I think most people would like to live that way and be in shape and train and decent. I mean, what the fuck were you eating when I came in here? Some kind of fucking...
Some sort of fucking sandwich on it.
Anyhow, more to the point, like, do you think, what is the secret to get to that position?
I mean, the standard answer would be hard work, wouldn't it? But I don't know. I think there has to be some sort of, an element of luck there as well, I feel. Do you know what I mean? I felt like everything kind of just fell into place. Obviously, there was a lot of work behind that. People think, oh, he's got this social media, he can do, that. He's been here, there, everywhere, been to the Barry Mansion. And they think, oh, that must be easy, that. And it's not. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think they see the sacrifice, of your mates. Oh, you want to come out? No, I can't.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Of course.
That happens every once in a while, and you just see the footage from it, and you think it's always like that. It's not. It's not always like that whatsoever. But when that does happen, don't get me wrong, I make the fucking most of it. But it's not always like that. But they don't see the sacrifice that kind of went before it. Like, like I said before, me and Owen being in the gym till like, I'd do however many clients in a day. I would be like, he'll ring me in the morning. I'll be like, right, I've got 10 clients. I'm done at like, 7. Meet me at the gym at, I don't know, 9, because that's when it shuts. And then I've got the key, and then we can record a video. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
And then we're in there till like, 2, 3 a.m. just getting everything right. And then we're putting that video out. And I don't think they saw all that. Do you know what I mean?
People are only seeing the highlight reel of your life, really, especially on the socials and stuff. You said you'd been to the what mansion?
Oh, the Barry Mansion.
Can you tell us about that?
Oh, God, I've got some stories about that. Oh, God.
For people who don't know and listening or watching, what is the Barry Mansion, mate?
I don't know if it's still going now. It probably isn't. But what we went on an Ibiza trip probably when we were like 2000. I think it was 2019. Oh, it was probably one of the best trips I've ever been on. That I've also been to Brazil. That was a good trip. But this one, it was obviously me, brother, Rob Lips. It was Louis Armstrong, Mike Thurston, and we all got to obviously go to this mansion that was full of girls, strippers, and whatever they were. And I think it was just like a special invite. They just wanted us to come and film and do some stuff. And the YouTube videos, speaks for itself. Yeah, do you know what I mean? And it was a good time. That was a very good trip, shall we say? Some of the stuff I probably can't say on this podcast.
So if you go to lewisharrison.com/Barry Mansion, you'll get your tickets, mate. No, that's absolutely unbelievable. I know that you said towards the start of this podcast, mate, I just want to touch on, I didn't want to delve too much into it, mate, but I know you said you've had some run-ins with your brother. Everyone wants to hear a bit of a bash-up twin story. What's gone on, mate? Give us something when you've realised, actually, I can't fucking live with you.
Oh, God. You know what? Like, when we were growing up, we used to, early 20s and that, we used to like live with each other as well. And, oh, fucking hell, I hated him. Like, sometimes I liked him, but sometimes and from that I've always said that like I will never ever, from a certain age I was like, I'll never ever live with him again. And if he says, can I come stay with you, I'm like, no. Do you know what I mean? But like, I don't know, probably when we were like 21, 22, we'd just done a shoot in London, done a modelling shoot in London, and then we were like, oh fucking hell, let's go out on a night out. Next thing we know, we're necking bottles of wine. Next thing, I think we ended up getting into an argument with each other. We have no idea what the hell it was over. But I just remember him like, we were in a club and I remember him like smacking me. And I was like, oh, what the fuck, like this. So I kind of ran after him and then the fight broke out outside and stuff like that. There was a big long queue waiting to get into this club. Two lads come up, like, swinging. Anyways, I just remember kind of being on top of him, hitting him a few times in the mouth, bust his mouth. But then these bouncers came over and they grabbed me by my arms. And as they've grabbed me by my arms, he's come up and just gone, bit of chunk out my chin where I've got like a scar here now. Oh my God. All I remember, it was just so embarrassing the next morning when you're just like, oh, fucking hell, what happened last night?
Did you just live together at the time?
Yeah, actually, we were kind of like, I think we were like 20 or something like that, so we're still living at our mum's. Yeah.
Fucking hell,
do you know what I mean? So, but I remember getting on the train the next day, my fucking top's ripped, my chin's hanging off. I'm just like on this train like this, thinking, fucking hell, this is embarrassing. Like, do you know what I mean? I just remember getting home and I just remember saying to my mum, I hate that fucking gun. Do you know what I mean? Do you notice any kind of... In fact, I want to just talk about the social media side of it again, mate. Yeah.
Can you kind of give us any examples of some kind of perks that come with having a particularly large following? Because I think a lot of people would look at... I mean, I know a lot of people who are in this space, so I kind of know how it goes, but I know a lot of people looking in would say, he's got 1 million followers, fucking hell, he must get everything for free. Like, how much do you see of that and how many perks do you get, really?
I mean, get a lot of clothing free and stuff like that, but I don't want, like, I mean, in the past I've had, like, obviously hotel deals, stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
Do you try and reach out though as well?
No, I never do that.
Do you not?
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's, I hate those people that have got a following and they're like, oh, but I won't eat here, but unless give me a free meal and I'll put it, I'll put a post out. I'm thinking, what?
Oh, just pay for a meal.
Just pay for a fucking meal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
I feel like that's quite embarrassing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would never, ever reach out, oh, do you do any influencer deals? No, that's never going to be me.
See, because for me, I think if my following was big, I think you'd probably hate me, like, because I think I probably would be like, mate, like, I've got a following, like, oh, is any? Because like I've worked hard for the following.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think a lot of things, like,
I mean, there is a few perks from. I mean, like,
obviously you got your BM for free.
I've got a deal with BMW.
Have you actually?
Yeah,
I was joking.
Yeah,
fuck me. Have you really?
It's not free, like, but I've got a deal with BMW.
That's good. Like, that's good, to be fair, mate.
But that also comes from, but that's pretty recent, that deal.
And I bet you, mate, to be fair, a lot of people inquire to where you've been.
Yeah.
You're gonna get that, aren't you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna get that, like.
But with that deal, that's pretty recent. That, I mean, never, my BMWs before that, I used to, fine. You know what I mean? I never used to go in and say, oh, I've got this many followers, do you want to give me a deal? Do you know what I mean? That was just random. Like, I was just waiting there because I had an X3M before my M3 comp and it was getting a service. And there was a guy in there called Danny and he was just like, have you ever thought about the VIP service? Because I know you're on, like, I don't know, your 5th, 6th BMW now. And I was like, no, I've never even heard of it or something like that. I'm like, what happens? He goes, oh, well, let's try and sort you out or something like that. So, and so they sorted me out a new M3 and a new M4.
Fucking hell.
Obviously it wasn't, they're not free, but
yeah. It's still good deals,
nice little deals.
No, that's fucking sound, mate. I just want to touch on the Elavate Agency again, mate.
Yeah.
What is it exactly that you do with that? So if someone's watching now and they're potentially looking at your business and they're buying into you as a person, what is it that you can actually do for them? Who do they have to be? Who fits the criteria?
Well, anyone really. Okay, you don't really have to have like a massive following. We've got some people, like, we've got a girl that, she's probably got like 15,000 followers, 20,000 followers. She made 45 grand in a day. You know what I mean?
Fucking hell, mate.
But that was just through her. She's created a very good community. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's through her, obviously, our low ticket, app platform. But what I personally do and what obviously Owen do, we take care of all the high ticket selling. Okay. So that's what I kind of like advise people to do now is just like acquire some sort of high ticket skill. You know what I mean? And, learn how to sell, and people always message me like, oh, when you're doing a new YouTube video, when you're doing this, and you know what, I should probably make more time for that. But sometimes when I'm working, it is back to back. Sometimes I wake up at 5, I'm in the gym for like 6, I train, I come back, I start my calls at 9, and sometimes I'm not finishing until 10 p.m. and they're half an hour slots back to back. like that.
Yeah,
But every call is worth £1,600.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So when people come to me, why don't you create this? Which, you know what, I will do more. I can obviously, block out days and stuff to do more YouTube and stuff like that. But they've also got to look at, listen, that is very profitable for me.
And there's no ROI, man, in YouTube really, is there? Do you know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
If you've got your business brain on it, there's no ROI. It's a bit like having the podcast, but for me, this whole podcast thing's, for one, phones are down. Get have a big crack on with you.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's good
yeah.
crack. It's like counselling, mate. But as well, you're providing people with value and people are understanding what you do. Do you know what I mean? Not everyone in the world knew that I created content.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But when people say, actually, Ads knows, and he does this, that, and the other. Yeah, it's great. Lewis, what was it? Elavate. I need it. Do you get what I'm saying? So there's a lot of that, and I think there's a lot of valuable stuff you can give for people.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's really important. And if I could give advice to you, mate, I would definitely say try and make a little bit of time. And I understand from an ROI point of view.
Yeah.
But someone with your personality, mate, you've done it. You've already been on the YouTube scene. You know what you can do.
Yeah.
You'd max some noise, mate.
Sometimes, it's just chaos. There's so much going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now I have actually started to block out a little bit more time to be like, right, this is the day that you do all your content, or you block out 2 days a week where we kind of, it'll be Thursday and Saturday morning where you do all your content, and then you can start pushing that out over the week, which I'm kind of getting better at, obviously, time management. And that's a big thing when it comes to, obviously, kind of running these service-based businesses.
So you're graphing your ass off, you're doing all these calls, business is flying, there's a few years involved, you're all kind of doing well, living the dream to a lot of people, mate. How the fuck have you got the time to stay in shape? What do you do? What do you split?
You know what? I train 6 days a week.
Mm-hmm. First thing in the morning, like you said.
First thing in the morning, you know what?
Nutrition on point.
When I haven't got a girl staying over. I'm up at 5 a.m. I'm normally up at 5 a.m. and then I eat, and then I'm in there for 6:30, 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm only in there for an hour and a half tops. And then if I've got a little bit of time towards the back end of the day, I'll go again. So sometimes, I'm doing 2 a day just to keep that condition. And I understand now, because people that obviously follow me on Instagram had a slight operation, had some complications, didn't train for 12, 16 weeks, something like that.
Yeah.
And now I'm obviously back in training. Now I'm back in shape. Mm-hmm. It's that kind of run up to summer now where I'm like, you know what? We're going beefy with the fucking boys. So
is that what you're actually doing?
Yeah.
You fucking hearing about
And you need to be in shape for beefy with the boys, isn't it? You know what I mean?
So what can we expect to see from you? And that's a bit of a boring question, mate. But what do you want to do? Obviously, with the business, what's your goal? Do you have a kind of an exit strategy? Do you think you just want to keep providing this fucking quality service, improve that? What do you want to do?
Hopefully sell it at one point. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And we know that it's going to take a certain amount of time to get it where it needs to be. Mm-hmm. Okay. But if there's one little bit of advice that I could give to kind of younger guys, it's just every single fucking day you've got to be on it. You know what I mean? You
do.
Every single day.
People forget as well.
Do you know what I mean?
If you're not on it, not even from you, people actually forget.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
And people get too caught up in going out with the boys, girlfriends, this, that,
Baddy mansions, because you've done it, and you have pissed around, and you weren't gone as ham like this when you were doing that.
Well, yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean? Probably around, when I was 26, 27, I was probably still fucking about a little bit, to be fair. I was still you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Doing this, that, whatever, partying a little bit too much, should we say. Hanging around with the wrong friends. You need to kind of get I feel like you should have a small friend group. And everyone should be on the same journey. That's what I feel.
100%. Okay?
Because otherwise you're just going to get distracted, and you know what, you're going to kind of look back in 2-3 years, down the line, and you're like, fuck, there's a fucking hanging around with them fucking idiots.
So do you think for people starting out as well, and they really want to make something of their lives, and they're surrounded by negative people, do you reckon you've actually got to cut them people out? The reason I ask you, mate, I've got a good friend, he's got a podcast as well, and he said he had a lot of negative people around in his life. So you know what he done? He fucked them all off, mate. Moved to Marbella, lived in a fucking villa with his wife. He's got a hot wife and 2 kids, all that type of shit, mate. And he went, I was lonely as fuck. He went, I cut everyone out, and it was just me. That's what he said. So how do you? What would you kind of say to that? Do you know what I mean? Because if you cut everyone negative out your life, it's a bit like What happens if it doesn't go right for you? And you go back to fucking Kendall and it's like, fuck you. Do you want a job, Lewis? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
How do you, it's a mad one, that.
Like, listen, I've got some loose friends. Like, they're fucking loose. Like, I mean, but they're so fun to be around, right? But that is why, that's why you like to hang around with them, because they're funny and stuff like that. But you're also, I'm not saying, completely cut them out, but keep them at arm's length for a time. And you know what, you need to be on your shit.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, fucking hell, like, go out every fucking weekend, be with them, because if you do that, you're not going to get to where you want to be. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
But you can't just be staying in all the time. Like, your friends just don't know he's moved in with his, wife, and it's just him, lonely and stuff like that. Because you need to have some sort of, people say, cut all your social life out. Do you know what I mean? You need to have some sort of social life, because life could be taken away from you tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, well,
it's finding the balance, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like the balance. Yeah, and like, with your friends that are, should we say, a little bit loose, and they like to party a little bit too much, go on holiday with them. You know what I mean? And create those kind of like memories, but don't be like spending every single fucking weekend with them. Yeah.
That's on here as well. Do you see a future with children of your own?
Yeah. I feel like, as you get a little bit older, I'm 32 now, that it's probably not right now, but as you get further on in life, you need some sort of purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they give you a different purpose in life. So,
mad that.
Yeah.
It's mad that. Because obviously you're putting everything down now. Like, you're putting all the foundations in place to literally provide for something fucking mint.
Yeah.
Because when you think about what you're doing, I know we're joking about the loose friends and that, but that's what you're actually doing. You're paving the way now for whoever does come in. So fucking credit to you, mate. I wasn't expecting that answer for you.
Oh, you're not?
Nah, mate. I thought you were going to say, nee fucking kids, nee misses. Fuck off to Dubai, loose as fuck, sell the agency. Do you know what I mean? But no, that's fucking mint, mate. Is there anything else you want to add to the end of this, mate?
I don't know, what can I say that's fucking very inspirational, motivational?
What was the most inspirational thing you can think of, mate?
Oh,
come on.
Let me think what I used to say on the YouTube videos. Let me think of it. I used to fucking say something. It was funny.
Could just lie. Just come up with some lies, man. Tell a lot.
I
just play a goggin.
This is what I used to say. I used to say end of every YouTube video. I used to say, work hard, play hard, shag even harder.
Legend, mate. Thanks a lot for your time, mate. Appreciate it. Legend, mate.